So on your homework and on your quiz, when I'm asking you to find trig values of the other four trig functions, the reciprocal functions, I'm totally content to have you have this diagram in front of you. And let's do a few together. So like I said, I noticed people having some trouble with this on the quiz. So secant of 0, secant is just 1 over cosine of 0. Okay, so this first line are the quadrantal angles, right? And some of them are in, most of them are in degrees, a couple of them are in radians, but we should just recognize pi is 180 degrees. Okay, so cosine of 0 is, we come here to 0 degrees, cosine is x, so that would be 1 over 1, right? Obviously 1. Something that you should notice is that if I were asking you for the cosecant of 0, right, which would be 1 over sine of 0, and notice that sine of 0 is 0. Right, and so this would be undefined. So some of the values we're going to get today are undefined, and you can just write UND for undefined, or DNE for does not exist would be fine also. Okay, so recall that tangent, all right, so remember tangent is sine over cosine, or in other words, tangent is y over x. Okay, so good thing earlier in the year we reviewed dividing fractions. All right, because in a couple places you're going to have to divide some of these fractional values. But anyway, in this case, go to 270, right? So it's right here. And I have y, which is -1 over x. And exactly what I was just talking about, I get a 0 in the denominator. That's undefined. Okay, so I'm going to let you do the other two on your own. Let's scroll down to a couple of these that are not quadrantal angles. So tangent of pi over 6. So again, I would go to pi over 6 and I would look for y divided by x. All right, so I'm doing number 10 right now. All right, tangent of pi over 6. So go to pi over 6, right here. I've got y divided by x. All right, and so we know to keep the first fraction, change to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Those 2's will divide to 1. And I get 1 over radical 3. I am perfectly content with this answer, 1 over radical 3. If I were to rationalize that, right, multiply the top and the bottom by radical 3, I would get radical 3 over 3. Okay, so either of those I am equally as happy with. So let's do one more together. So let's do cosecant of 7 pi over 6. So in this case, I am looking for 1 over sine, right? In other words, 1 over y. Sine is y, so I am looking for the reciprocal of the y coordinate at 7 pi over 6. So I find that over here. And the reciprocal of the y coordinate is just -2, right? Reciprocal of -1/2, so -2. Okay, so pause the video and try the 4 remaining values. Right? If you got them all right, stop the video, you're done. For classwork today, all you have to do to get credit for the classwork is take a picture of this and show me that they're done. All right, so anyway, if you had trouble, okay, secant, right, that's 1 over cosine. Right, so I'm looking for 1 over cosine of pi. Cosine is x, right? So I go to this angle pi, which is right here, and I locate the x value, which is -1. Okay. I am also at 180 degrees here as well. These are both 180 degrees, but this time I want 1 over sine of pi, or sine of 180 degrees. So over at this point, the y value is 0. All right, can't have that in the denominator. That's why this one is undefined. All right, now for cotangent. All right, if tangent is y over x, cotangent is x over y. All right, so cotangent is cosine over sine. So what I have to do is I have to go to 5 pi over 6. All right, so that's right here. And I do x divided by y. Okay, so I have negative radical 3 over 2 divided by the y value, which is 1/2. All right, so I copy, change, flip. And get the radical, negative radical 3. Okay, and then for cosecant, that's the reciprocal of sine, right? So I'm looking for this one, 1 over y. Okay, so I go to 210, which is right here in the 3rd quadrant, and I take the reciprocal of the y value, which was -1/2. The reciprocal is -2.